One of the main focuses in this module was development, and so that's what we chose to do our concept map on. When creating this, we decided to do 4 different categories of development and just branch off of it. So there's moral, cognitive, social, and physical. We believe that this information is important because these development stages occur during a child's critical period. And during this critical period, this is when a lot of things start to stick with children and become important to them. And these concepts that they learn, they take with them throughout adulthood and into the rest of their life, and development is a key part of that. Another reason why we believe this information was important is because as future teachers, we need to be able to understand different parts of development and when a child is going through that so that we can support and aid our students and make sure that they can reach their maximum potential. When creating this concept map, there were a few compromises that we made, and so one of them was that we combined physical and language development together because they had very similar principles that were overlapping, and so we just put it all into one category. Another thing was that when creating this concept map, when doing the different categories, so for example, moral, each category has a small overview, the definition of that category, a theory, and a theorist that went along with it. And then another thing we did was that we chose the most broad forms of development and then narrowed it down to the topic further when going through the map. So we went from development then to moral, cognitive, social, physical, and then we broke them down from there.
My group also discussed different ways that we felt would have been equally as successful for organizing the information. Starting off, the most successful second runner-up would have been organizing our information by theories. Theories such as Pygot's and Kohlberg's were really focused on stages of life and more tangible development, so we felt that these would have been a good grouping together. Another possible grouping would have been Vygotsky's and Bronfenbrenner's. They're both broader, more conceptual theories. Cognitive and social development have many overlaps, and these theories just would have gone hand in hand well together. And finally, Bauerhein's would have been on its own little island because it's more encompassing of the parents and not necessarily the children. And so that would have been by itself separate from most of the other theorists. Another possible grouping would have been by people, children versus parents. These were the two main groups that had the most impactful implications of all the development. Ultimately, children become adults, grow up, and so they both receive many of the impacts of this. And finally, our third alternate way would have been physical versus cognitive, or in the same sense, tangible versus intangible. We felt that we could, on one side, group social and physical or language development together. In our own work, we did group physical and language together just because there was so many overlap. And we thought on the other side it would be cognitive and moral. We kind of highlighted the fact that social and physical are just more able to be seen acts of development, and moral and cognitive really just go on inside a child's head, and so it's more easy for a teacher and adults to notice that. Overall, we selected our 4 groups, social, cognitive, moral, and physical, because each is detrimental to the content we learn this module. Physical occurs in stages and has so many sets of differentiating factors for the child's milestone going on. Social affects us more as teachers, the most out of all of these, and we need to see both the prominent and hidden details, especially those that are concerning going on with children, just for their safety and ours. And cognitive is similar to physical, but it just consists of more theories that we really felt we wanted to highlight. A lot of the theories, such as Piaget and Vygotsky, just stuck out with what they presented us during this module. And moral follows the same pattern of the theorist, just really gave important details for us that we should carry as teachers, and it helps us hone in on our growth as educators and what to look out for, how we can benefit children during their critical and sensitive time periods.